You're listening to The Lobster and His Boy. It's me, the boy, Wyatt.
And me, the lobster, Clem.
We'll be reading the Narnia book series through publication order, starting with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and of course ending with The Last Battle.
Join us for fun discussions about books that were written basically over 70 years ago, but still somehow pique our interest today because there's just too many Harry Potter podcasts, and as much as we love discussing it, we don't want to make you listen to that. So many of you are hopefully, if not everyone, is familiar with the Chronicles of Narnia, which is a 7-series book written by C.S. Lewis. But I feel like the main reason we got started doing this is because when we lived together, I started reading the Chronicles of Narnia again. Honestly, I don't remember why. I think I just was getting back in a reading phase, and they're easy to read and they're fun to read. And it was just like, nobody really talks about the Chronicles of Narnia. They made a few movies, but I want to open up the discussions. I want to talk to people about it, and you're my favorite person to talk to about things.
It's me. um, but yeah, I started reading Narnia shortly after I started reading Harry Potter. So that was like third grade. Um, and I remember I really liked them, but I didn't really reread them to the level that I was rereading Harry Potter at that point.
Well, the hype had kind of died down about,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was a little
there was
older.
no hype.
I got my set from my brother who never read them, I don't think.
Classic
And
Donovan.
they're like a plasticky paper. They were released post movie, so they all have like a fake stamp on it that says now motion picture or what the
Ew.
fuck ever. Um, oh yeah, are we cursing?
I mean, we can always bleep it out later. I don't see why not.
But they're in color because I know your illustrations are all black and white, but I've got them in couleur,
They are black and
which
white.
is nice. I did bring my book. It's lying around here somewhere.
Is that the good ASMR? Ooh, this nice book sound. These are from '83.
Yeah, mine are from like 2005.
Well, apart from being a little bit generationally pretentious, I also was gifted my set from my friend Kyle. Shout out to Kyle. I think when I was like 19 or 20, and I decided to read them when I was 21, and really started reading them when I went to Europe with my mom to visit some of our family. And because the books I have are smaller than regular sizes, it just fit better in my suitcase. So I brought like 4 of them with me.
They're quite nice. They're not quite pocket size, but easy to fit in a little bag or a big pocket, I guess.
They totally fit in your back pocket.
Okay.
Because I've had jobs and I've definitely stuffed them in my back pocket because that is I like a book that you can just put in your pocket because sometimes you're bored.
You're more likely to read it if you've got it with you.
Yeah, it's one of those generational hangups from those of us born in the late 1980s, or as I like to call them, the ladies.
Yeah, I just read fan fiction on my phone. I'm bored.
I mean, and also just to backtrack on the whole oohing, the book that has the movie cover on it. However you read the stories, like it doesn't really matter. Like whether you have a fancy copy that's like a collector's item or like one that a toddler or dog has chewed on. It's just as long as you can get the story. I think that's what matters.
Reading is important.
Yeah. Yeah, 21. I was in Europe when the volcano went off in Iceland that shut down all the airplanes and travel just went tits up. So we were doing a lot of train traveling and bus traveling. So reading about kids that were in fantastical worlds that didn't really make a lot of sense was great because I was in countries where I didn't speak like a teeny tiny bit of the language, or I can read gestures like most people, but otherwise I was just like soy un americano.
I'm reading books.
Right.
Don't talk to me, please.
Yeah, just reading the Chronicles of Narnia and Martin, Slovakia, which if you look up where that is, you'd be like, why would you go there? And that's a story for a different podcast.
Yeah, I was just reading them in my bedroom. maybe at school, maybe at the park.
Yeah. I mean, I might have read them as a kid. I feel like maybe my mom read them to me, but I had a really great recollection of the stories. So either I read them and forgot, or I just
Hmm.
really listened
I mean,
because we talked about it in church,
oh,
which is
church.
a excellent segue into the other topic. The other topic, like there's two.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm familiar. I guess I would say I'm familiar with the like religious undertones of the story, uh, but I did not grow up religious adjacent. We live next door to some Christians, so went to church every once in a while.
Yeah,
Youth group, church, Wednesday nights, prayer circle, the churchish.
yeah, yeah. I grew up in the church. I guess that's a weird phrase. I would go to church, uh, handbells, choir, theater camps, music camps, vacation Bible school, youth group, choir trips, youth group trips, did it all. Thankfully was Presbyterian though, which is probably one of the chillest forms of Protestancy.
Well, I
That
don't
is
know.
not a word. No, I think Episcopalians got it unlocked, but we definitely talked about it in Sunday school. I remember talking about it and being very excited about the correlations between the two, and mostly just because I was a child, I was in church,
Hmm.
it was fun. And now as an adult, I do think it's interesting because obviously the connections are there for a reason, but separating them and just appreciating for what it is kind of makes it that much more magical and powerful. Like if you can just disregard the
Right.
fact that
If
like
Aslan is just Aslan.
yeah, and Aslan could be Allah, like Aslan can
Hmm.
be all the mighty God. It doesn't have to be Jesus God,
Yeah.
because like Aslan sacrifices himself. Wait, spoiler.
Spoiler.
Because Aslan is like God and Jesus,
And the Holy
and
Spirit.
yeah, and the
He.
Holy Spirit, and like there are many stories in the Quran, in the Talmud, and in the Bible, and in all those main three big go religions that have similar stories. So
Hmm.
like yes, there are lots of like Christian overtones, but there's also Judaism and Islam in there as well.
Two white people uncovering it all.
A echo is weird. Yeah, so which book are you most excited to read?
I'm most excited to read The Silver Chair because I don't really remember anything at all from it except maybe Edmund is there. But that's all that I know, and I don't even know if I know that. So I'm excited to read that. But my favorite book is The Voyage of the Dawn Treader because it's like the classic adventure story, the Quest of the Seven Kings or whatever. Like it's just so classic,
Mm-hmm.
like good adventure with characters that I want to see on an adventure. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a win-win. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, my recollection of the stories is not as good as it used to be, and I feel like I could more enthusiastically chime in to that. And at first, I was annoyed with myself for forgetting the stories, but now I'm actually just excited to go back and reread them because I know it's all going to come back very quickly.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I am also most excited to reread The Silver Chair because that one, I believe, has one of my favorite moments in all of the stories, and I can't say what it is because it's such a incredible moment that would, you know, obviously these books came out like 70 years ago, but
Mm.
I just want to get there, but I'm willing to wait for it. So,
I'm trying to cry on this podcast. That's how you know it's good. When there's
uh,
tears.
tears on my microphone.
Well, speaking of whatever we were just speaking of, because no time has passed at all, What would you say your favorite movie is?
Hmm. So I'm pretty sure that we watched Prince Caspian. Is that one of
Mm-hmm.
them? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I've seen Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but I know for an absolute fact that I've seen The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and probably that one, um, because doesn't it didn't have anything else to be compared to.
Yeah.
It was alone on its own. It had new actors playing these roles. I mean, you had I can't remember James.
Don't ask me.
Oh, the Scottish guy. I can't remember. Oh, God. You know what? I'm not going to do that to myself because I spent all day trying to remember Naomi Watts' name and hated myself because I was like, you forgot Jet Girl's name? Shame on you. But,
Shaming on Aiden.
yeah, no, my favorite is definitely The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe because I've seen it the most and I think that it is just well done. But I honestly don't remember having a lot of qualms with the other stories necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that my favorite is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But
Mm
I think, yeah, because nostalgia. When you watched it, it was like
hmm. Mm hmm.
it was on my rotation with The Secret Garden and How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Okay, 2005. Okay. Yeah, just for continuity, I wanted to know like when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2005. So I was 16. So like, you were a bit younger and better to be swept up in the magic, but also that was the age when I was really into it
Mm-hmm.
also. And that isn't to say I wasn't equally ensconced with it. I think it just was like, I mean, like I
I
was
mean,
driving at this point.
yeah,
So
I would
like,
have been what, 8,
yeah,
maybe not, maybe 9.
depending
Like
on,
that's perfect age.
oh
That's why,
yeah.
yeah, reading Harry Potter, I was like, I've got time. I could be. What's happening in my browser? Um, I could be part of this. I could be part of their world. It could happen. I was young enough that it was, there was a chance that one day when I turned 10, I would open up my closet door and be swept into
Yeah.
a special place.
it's it's one of those things, and like I feel like we should just already lean into it because like all I can think about is I love all these stories so much, and I wish that like I get it. This is like Harry Potter level commitment, but I really wish that they would get a team and a crew and of actors, everyone to sign on for all seven books
Mm,
and redo them from the Magician's Nephew all the way down to the last battle because although yeah, like the movies they made are great, it just would be so much cooler to like see these stories progress and like
yeah,
especially like how you have characters in some books and others like using the same actor and like you lose that ability when you have many years in between making movies. And I appreciate like children grow up a lot faster than adults do, but like I wish I had the millions of dollars to just sink into that and like have it happen because I think that it would be really cool.
hmm I mean, but if they did do that, would they do it? They could do it from Magician's Nephew on, or in the same vein as his release. Because I was doing a little research pre-podcast or in my notes, um, and he released them in a different order, starting with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, um, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, then The Horse and His Boy, then The Magician's Nephew, just to come back to the last battle. Um, and I think that if they did make movies, that could be a good way to go.
I guess that
Get
is what they
people
did.
get people involved with the story through the Pevensies, and then as the story progresses, then you give them a
Yeah.
prologue, and then you sweep in right at the end and do the last battle and have all of those emotional moments right at the end.
Well, now I'm wondering if we should just restructure the whole podcast and do it that way because, like, even though you're not necessarily trying to make an argument or a compelling point, you definitely have made a very good
Mm-hmm.
one in both cases. And now I'm like looking at it and thinking those are the three movies they made or the first three. So
mm-hmm.
but like, what I mostly wanted is like, I mean, the first movie came out in 2005. That was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
um, I don't want like I don't want that much time in between them because if you're gonna have repeat characters, in Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, in The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, like whatever, especially because spoiler, most of the characters are kids.
Mm-hmm.
you have to do it within a certain amount of time, otherwise the kids are going to grow up, and then and like,
Kids grow quick too.
yeah, and you don't want to actually prevent real human beings, actors or otherwise, from growing and aging. I'm not trying to Judy Garland people. So it'd just be the type of thing where, like, if anybody wants to come up with a plan, I can come up with an intricate schedule and we can make it happen. But we're going to have to get some serious actors who are ready to Broadway it, because it will
And they
not
can't be
be
too
done.
famous.
No. And
New
yeah.
faces. I like that there's some, we can have some callbacks, we can have some reoccurring. Maybe
Yeah.
someone can play an older character or something like that. But there's too much. Timothy Chalamet does not need to be in it.
Don't get me started on the boy. Don't get me started on
Like,
the boy.
we don't need, you know, I don't know. We don't
Yeah.
need some people who just keep being everywhere.
No. And, like, honestly, I'd love to do it. Like, yes, Harry Potter did have huge names playing big roles, but when you think about it, the
It was
main,
secondary roles.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like the main,
Teachers.
yeah, like team, like the A squad is Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Yeah.
Everybody else is secondary. I mean, like, and
Mm-hmm.
you can make compelling arguments that there are fifth Beatles, I guess fourth Beatles, to that, but, like, really that's what it came down to. And because I mean, how many really famous child actors were there at that point? Like, you're either in a Disney contract or you're
Well,
in a
and British
Nickelodeon
too. They're
contract.
British because it was a
Yeah,
full English
they're
cast.
British.
No, they're American. Daniel, that's an American name.
Yeah, Ronald is a very American
Rupert.
name. Oh yeah, what the fuck?
He is Ron.
Yeah,
I
and I like the name Rupert. Anyway,
it's cute.
getting off track. Okay, so did we, within this conversation, decide to change the setup? Because do you think it'd be better for us to do them in the order that the books were released, or to do them in the or like do them in the order of how the stories go?
I don't know. I like reading stories chronologically anyway. Like if I when I did the reread of The Hunger Games, I read the prequel first, even though I hadn't even read it. I was like, I'm gonna read it first because it's a prequel, and then I'm gonna read the original trilogy, and I like that because I mean, you catch the Easter eggs whichever way you read them. It's just like, I mean, spoiler for the end of The Magician's Nephew, like it's not really connected to Narnia until it is, like,
Yeah.
until right at the end, and then it's not connected to the Pevensies until it is, until right at the end. And so then, reading that, when did it come out? It came
55.
out in 55, and
Should be.
so it would be 5 years later. 5 years later, you're reading the sixth book
Yeah.
in like, there is something to be said about it, but because it's not the 50s, I don't know. I like a chronological timeline.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, well, the only other thing is, like, I just recently rewatched all the Paranormal Activity movies passively, but I watched them in, 1 through 4,
Mm-hmm.
which they're not in order.
I don't think so. I think the third one is a prequel or something.
The third, yeah,
The second one might be the prequel. And the second one is happening to her sister's family, but then at the end, spoilers for Paranormal Activity, you find out that her brother-in-law transfers the curse to her.
yeah, wait, yeah, I got it. And then the third one is, like, the other family with the adopted
Mm-hmm.
kid, and then the fourth one is, like, when they're little girls.
Yeah.
Got it. I was like, why can't I remember the plot of the movie that I just watched? So many questions. Why was there a second boy? Anyway, we'll save that for the Paranormal Activity podcast. That one's called
The Lobster and His Ghost.
the Lobster Spooky Ghost. Yeah, no, I feel like I want to change my mind on going in, like, doing
Yeah.
it like The Magician's Nephew first, and I think that we should start off with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Also because it's the most well known, and also because I haven't, like, meticulously read that one in the past 24 hours to prepare for this podcast. So I think that would be a lot more fun.
Yeah, that would be good. All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, then we're gonna do it in the order as I read previously. Release The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, The Horse and His Boy. Then we'll get back to The Magician's Nephew, and we'll probably read it again and have different notes than the notes that we currently have. And then we'll wrap it up with The Last Battle, and I hope that it doesn't take us 5 years.